Hey, I'm Siobhan, and I love talking about all the things related to freedom and personal growth. And I'm on a journey to redefine freedom on my own terms as I become the woman I desire to be. Each week, I'll share in real time what I'm learning as I do my inner work while creating a safe space for my listeners to feel seen. If you desire to be free and live a life that feels good to you, then you're in the right place for beautiful conversations that's going to support you on your journey to freedom. Welcome to the Siobhan J. Middleton podcast. Now let's start the show. Hey, welcome back to another episode of my podcast. I'm your host, Siobhan, and I am so happy that you are here again to listen to what I have to share. So I'm hoping today's episode will be inspiring for you, that it will help you take a moment to pause and to reflect over your life and figure out how you can have more joy. This episode was inspired by a conversation I was having with my daughter on the way to school. And I was like, this is it. And I was just thinking out loud, right? And I'm like, this is it. This is life. We get up every day and we do pretty much the same thing. It may switch up a little bit, but we're doing the same things day in and day out. And in that moment, I was just feeling like blah, well, what more do I want out of my life? Because I never wanted to feel mundane and stagnant or stale. And I didn't like what I was feeling. And so I was expressing this out loud to my daughter. And it just had me thinking, reflecting, and asking some questions. What matters and who matter, right? If we are not careful, life can begin to look like we're existing in it, doing the same thing day in and day out, and it's not really feeling purposeful. It's like you go to work, you take care of your kids if you have them. There's dinner, there's preparing for bed, there may be a few things in between, and you're repeating this day in and day out. And you fill in whatever fills up your day. And it can become mundane, again, like you're just existing. And no one really prepares you for life, right? There's no handbook. We're all out here trying to figure it out. And there's some people who are comfortable with the mundane, they're comfortable with the routine of what they do every day. And they look forward to the weekends so that they can chill out for a bit and then get back into the rhythm again. And if that's you, that's fine. But then there are some people who want a little bit more out of life. They want their life to feel a certain kind of way. Today, my thoughts is all around joy. How do you find your slice of joy in every single day? In whatever way that you can. Recently, my daughter, about a month and a half ago, I believe, she started a new job. Her first traditional job. She's worked over the years, but everything has been around her art. But this is the first time she's working, just a regular job. And so at her job, she serves as a store clerk. One of the things that she noticed just maybe a week in is how, number one, she's 17 years old, and the people that she work with are way older than her. She told me, she was like, Mom, this is their life. This is their job. This is how they pay their bills. And they're not happy. And she was like, I don't want to end up like this. I don't want to just be making it day by day, working at a job just to pay bills. And it made her sad because, granted, she's only 17. She's a senior in high school preparing for art college. But the fear is if she didn't do the things that she needed to do in school to prepare for college, this could be her life. And she would be miserable. And what I said to her is that I'm so glad that you're able to see this at a young age, that you can see people who are older than you and how they're living, and that's not what you want. everybody doesn't have that type of awareness. And so because you can see it, let that be the inspiration that you keep going towards your dream of going to art college and everything that you want to do in your life. And one of the things with both of my children, I've always, from the time they were little, I never wanted them to focus on just getting any type of job. What is it that makes your heart sing? What makes you feel fulfilled? What is the dream, And for them, they will not, I don't foresee them ever being content with just doing something just because it pays them money, right? There has to be a goal in mind. And so my daughter is doing this just for a part-time job while she's in school, just to have some extra money. But she already knows this is not long-term. And so I'm sharing that to say, even at 17 years old, how bright she is to see, I want more for my life. And basically she's saying, I want joy. I want to do the thing that fills me up. And me as her mother, that is what I'm here to encourage her to do. And so I want you to think about your own life and where you're at and what brings you joy. What lights you up inside? And I'll share with you, I talked about this last week where I started a new job. And I'm working at a spice shop specifically because it gives me joy. The joy of learning about new spices, bettering my cooking skills. Also the joy with being able to talk to other creatives and be in a social space and all of that. That is bringing me joy. When I Instacart, for the most part, it brings me joy because I have the freedom to move about and plan my day as I choose. My podcast, my writing, that brings me joy. And that's all work related, right? And then I was thinking, okay, well, what else brings me joy? And in order for me to figure that out, again, slowing down and taking in life. And what is it that I can break up the flow of my day and do something that lights me up? So I first started thinking about my children, right? And so with my daughter, the things that bring her joy is playing her PS5, painting, or anything really art related, and hanging out with her friends. And with my son, he enjoys playing the Xbox, skateboarding, and he is very social, going to other places and hanging out with his friends. And I know that that brings him joy because of how they talk about it and how I can see the joy they have when they're doing these different things. And so for me, what brings me joy is my children, seeing them happy and living their life and just feeling good. That brings me a lot of joy. Decorating my home and my home feeling the exact way that I want it to feel. When I moved into my apartment last year, the only thing that I came with was my clothes and my books. I had no decorating skills or anything, but I knew I wanted it to feel good, and I knew this home would have to serve me in a specific kind of way. And I've been having so much fun decorating my home and learning this new skill. And the feeling that I get every single time I walk in a door, it's like my home is giving me a hug. And the vibe that I'm experiencing, it gives me all the joy, laughter with my friends and, just hanging out and just having these very hard belly laughs at times with friends. Like that brings me so much joy. Roller skating, if you know, okay? I didn't know how much joy skating would give me. I mean, I knew I enjoyed it, but the fact that I go several times a week and I'm really progressing as a skater and learning more about myself and how I feel in my body brings me all the joy. New recipes, especially when they turn out right, brings me so much joy. Music. Oh, how I love music, which I have a podcast coming up all about my love for music. And one of my newest discoveries, and I shared this on Instagram, is that I learned that I was able to download the Spotify app on my TV and listen to my music. And so that has brought me so much joy. Going on walks, and just being connected with nature. My coffee, y'all, my coffee. Oh man. And now, I don't know if I shared this, but I started using this spice called Brown Sugar Babe that I got from Adun Spice Co., which is where I'm working. And I sprinkle a little bit of that in my coffee grounds every day. Oh my God, the best cup of coffee ever in life. And that brings me so much joy. Just the whole preparation of my coffee, because I've shared before that I use a French press. That ritual, and then sitting down in stillness and drinking my coffee, it delights me in so many ways. And so I'm just sharing a few things that bring me joy and how I'm finding it in my day to day. And I want the same for you, that whatever it is that brings you joy, whatever it is, figure out how you can do a little bit of that every single day so that you can feel good and you don't feel like you're just going through the motions of life. And one of the things I've also been thinking about is that it's not about money. Money is beautiful. Money is wonderful. It helps us do the things that we want to do. But more so than anything, for me, how do I want to feel? And if I'm feeling good, everything is right in the world, you know? Like when I'm around loving people, beautiful energy, when I'm dancing and just skating and like eating good food, like whatever it is that delights me, and I'm feeling good, that's the best feeling in the world. And so I think sometimes we're like, if I just make enough money, then. But what if you can live every single day like it's the best day of your life, where you're at in this moment? How would you live? Would you still just be focused on the money? Or would you try to find joy in the moment? And that is the work, to be present, right? To be present in the moment and enjoying your life. And that's what I want to encourage you to do, because that is what I'm doing. I'm learning how to feel good exactly where I'm at instead of chasing the next thing. And this is very new for me, and also is giving me joy. And then I'm able to look at my life in a different way and appreciate and be grateful for where I'm at. So one of the things, as I was preparing for this episode, I made a list of what brings me joy. And I just jotted down a few things. And so I want to encourage you to do the same, to pull out your journal or your notebook or even the notes app on your phone. And at the top, just write, what brings me joy? And just make a list. And it can be a running list, right? So you always add to it. And as you're listing the things that bring you joy, make sure you're trying to do some of those things every day, even if it's just one thing. And our joy will look very different, right? What brings me joy and what brings you joy, two different things, but that's totally fine. It doesn't matter as long as you're doing it. And I would love for you to DM me on Instagram or shoot me an email and say, Siobhan, these things are what's bringing me joy. I want to hear from you. So thank you so much for listening. As always, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. And I would love for you to rate it 5 stars and leave a comment or two about your thoughts. You can treat me to a cup of coffee by clicking the link in the show notes if you were inspired by anything that I had to say. And lastly, I would love for you to subscribe to my weekly newsletter where I write about what's on my heart and go a little bit deeper than on the podcast. You can get the weekly newsletter every single week for free. And then there's also an option to become a paid subscriber where you get the weekly newsletter plus some beautiful resources from me here and there. So, as always, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to share this episode with a friend by texting them the link. Share it on social media and tag me so I can see it. And I hope you have the most amazing day ever. Sending you so much love and light.